The Walt Disney World Resort is truly empty this holiday weekend after Hurricane Milton made a mess of things. The company was slow to respond. That's a big deal because Disney World brings in something like 1/3 of all of the company's profits. Now many are beginning to worry if the stock can recover. Today we'll show you with aerial photos just how empty Disney World has become. Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel that is bringing you the news as you need to know, talking about theme parks, Disney World, Epic Universe, and more. And today we're going to be examining just how empty the parks have become, and the mistakes, by the way, that Disney made that made it so. As we get ready to dive into today's content, folks, consider clicking the like button. We begin today with Disney Tourist Blog, a website which I have previously said I am very impressed with and continue to be so. Tom Bricker, the author, so good job, Tom. The author says Disney World's biggest crowds in 6 months are coming soon. One of the busiest times of the year at Walt Disney World is fall break. Federal holidays and school recesses cause crowd levels to spike, which catches many visitors by surprise. October 24 will be a bit different than normal. We're still anticipating weeks with high wait times in Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Animal Kingdom, and Hollywood Studios, the busiest dates since Easter. Technically, fall break season has already started. Some school districts do multiple student holidays or professional development days for teachers in late September and October. Other colleges, universities, and K-12 school systems take longer breaks deeper into the month of October. It's not just fall breaks that contribute to congestion either, and it goes on to talk about how usually this works. This month is not the same, and here's why. The big wild card this year is the aftermath of Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton. This post was originally slated to be published in late September, but the arrival of Helene caused us to postpone, that being Disney Tourist Blog, wanting to see the potential impact it had. Sadly, it was a significant one. Not for Central Florida, but that is not the only or even primary consideration, since Walt Disney World is a tourist destination fueled by out-of-state visitors. It was again slated to be posted over the weekend, but then Hurricane Milton entered the chat. This storm system did go through Orlando and even resulted in the closure of Walt Disney World. Thankfully, Milton was not as catastrophic as anticipated, but again, that's not the only relevant consideration in how this storm has or will impact crowds. In both cases, its cascading effects. Now, it goes on to say that normally the weekend of Columbus Day, or as some people want to call it now, Indigenous Peoples Day, hello culture war, welcome to a new holiday, at least it's not a month this time, is among the worst of the fall break season. That will not be the case this year due to families from out of state canceling their vacations as a result of limited park reservations for annual pass holders as Disney World works to scale back up and recover post-storm. Now this brings us to the first big mistake that Disney made, and that is that in the anticipation of what was coming this October, they did not remove these caps, these blackout dates for annual pass holders to the degree that they needed to. And in fact, this whole system of limiting capacity and limiting pass holders and blackout dates, all of it's confusing. All of it adds to the problems that Disney has. And remember that Disney World drives, again, 1/3 of all of the profits of the company. Let's take a look now at thrillData.com, folks. If you've not seen this before, we use this quite often now, maybe twice monthly. It's a website that takes all of the posted wait times for every single attraction at the parks and then puts those together for an average and then tracks that week by week, month by month, day by day. And we use the month by month chart. And so each one of these bars represents a different month from a different year. And I want to show you something that's happening that is so fascinating and gives you an idea of why we come on this channel over and over and say something is not good, something is not right. They need to fix this soon or their stock's going to be falling. All right, here's what's going on. Take a look. Let's go back to 2022. Folks, we largely don't use 2020 and 2021 because the parks were operating under different protocols than normal. None of the rides were operating in the ways that you would usually see. People were spaced out 5-6 feet between each person in line. So that data really doesn't help us. So pre-pandemic, and then starting in 2022, we get good data again. I want to show you what happens every single year. In September of 2022, you can see that wait times were very low. By the way, we correlate these with the number of people that we believe are in the parks. So in September of 2022, the average wait time was 31 minutes. In October, that skyrockets back up to being one of the busiest months of the year. Shockingly, for some people, they don't know that October is that busy, but it is. And so October went back up to 42 minutes, which is really high up there. You can see based on what it is, it's in the top 6 months. Let's go to 2023. And what do we find in 2023? Well, again, September, very low, 30-minute wait time. October does get a boost, not quite as much as the year prior, but it goes up to 35 minutes. So that's a significant increase, right? So that's something like 18, 20%. Don't have the calculator, but it's something like that in terms of increase over month to month. So September, one of the lighter months, October picks up. What's happening this year? Well, this year in September, we had wait times of 26 minutes, which meant that September was historically one of the least crowded months of the year that we've seen since the pandemic. Nobody was at the parks in September. It was absolutely void of guests. Now, we'll have some people who come on and say, hey, I'm at the parks and you won't believe how crowded it is. Well, it may feel that way sometimes, and on certain days it can be such, but you can't argue with the data. The data here is absolute. Nobody relatively was in the parks. Well, guess what? October is worse, and we're halfway through October. So even if we see a rebound for the last 2 weeks of October, it's still not going to be enough to propel this in any kind of great place. It's going to try to drag itself back up to September, which again was the least crowded month post-pandemic we have seen. We're trying to dig our way back to that. That's bad. Again, Disney has made part of this problem even worse by all of these blackout dates and these things that were meant to handle the crowds. But then when the hurricanes hit, Disney was not quick to say, you know what, everybody come on back. Now, folks, we don't normally have photos such as what we're about to share with you. This is out of Bioreconstruct, and we really like the account Bioreconstruct. They do a fantastic job. Bioreconstruct takes aerial photos of the Disney parks, Epic Universe, and generally attractions around Orlando. Bioreconstruct also gave the community a scare a year ago with a poor health diagnosis, but we're hopeful that things have turned around, and maybe that's true. That would be wonderful. And so we wish Bioreconstruct very, very well. Folks, this is an image that you're looking at now of Disney's Hollywood Studios taken over the holiday weekend. Again, a holiday weekend, but it is post-hurricane. Nothing tells you how uncrowded this is like the parking lot. Let me explain. Over in this area of the parking lot, you will see the guests. If everybody can see my cursor, you can see this is guest parking. And you can see that there's some guest parking also over here that would be called preferred, although it gives you no advantage when there's so little parking. The vast majority of the parking lot is empty. And over here to the right of Disney's Hollywood Studios, just behind Galaxy's Edge, you can see cast parking. It appears to me that there's just about the same number of cast members that are there to work as there are guests to attend. There's something else you can see too that gives you some indication that this is not a bit of trickery, right? I'll show you two things that can prove that to you. First of all, you'll notice that there's not a line of cars coming into the parking lot with attendants parking the vehicles. Now, we can see a vehicle or two coming in, but there's not the line that you would see at the opening of a park when there's that rush to get in the morning. So this is not taken at that period of time. We're not trying to trick you by showing you what the park looks like at opening and say, oh, this is indicative of what it looked like all day long. No, this is it. This is over a holiday weekend again. A lot of people canceled their plans to go because of the hurricane. Also, folks, take a look at the shadows. And you can see this tree line, for example, and you can see the shadows coming off of it. You can also see the Galaxy's Edge buildings, which are very tall, and you can see the shadows off of them. You can see the buildings over here, the backstage buildings. What does that say? Well, it shows you that this is not taken at some sort of early morning or late evening time because the shadows will be cast very far in a particular direction. They're not. And so that means that this is relatively midday. It gets worse though, folks. And that's pretty bad to see how empty Hollywood Studios has been over a holiday weekend that Disney otherwise was anticipating would be a boon, a boost, and then would be something they could report positively in their next earnings call in November. This is far worse. This is Magic Kingdom during that same period. All right, folks, take a look at this. We've got a little bit of a crowd we'll try to scroll down where we can see that better. Here we go. We've got a little bit of a crowd in Main Street. Again, this via Bioreconstruct, but also with the help of Blog Mickey. And we hope they have great success from these pictures. But you can see the hub's really not all that crowded at all. In fact, if you look closely, a lot of these, little figures are actually light stands, not necessarily guests. And as you go into Tomorrowland, you can really see this. Take a look, folks. Over here by Space Mountain, the entrance, there's nobody. There's nobody. Absolutely nobody. Tron, few people walking up on the bridge. And again, lest you say, hey, you guys are cheating. You guys are cheating. Look at the shadows. Look at the shadows off of the People Mover. You can see it's not cast way off to the side. Yes, it's at an angle, but it's not crazy. It's not like what you would see the shadows be for early morning or for late afternoon, right? And you can see the castle casting its shadow here. So because the shadows are cast to the west, this is morning, but it's not drastically so. And so you can just see it's not crowded at all. And we wanted to show you this because people will say, as we said before, people will say, well, it's crowded. Oh, good job, Haunted Mansion. People will say, oh, well, it's crowded. When I was there, you wouldn't believe it. You guys are making it all up. Here's the photo. We're showing you what it looked like exactly. Frontierland also, by the way, and Adventureland still looking somewhat crowded. And that's good until you get up here. Big Thunder pulling crowds. Tiana, not so much. Pirates, though. People love pirates. It's funny to me. I wish it would be interesting to see a heat map of the Magic Kingdom these days. It seems to me a lot of the new stuff just has failed. And I don't say that with, glee or anything like that. But if you look over here at Tron, there's nobody going to Tron. If you look over here at Pirates of the Caribbean, it's been there since a few years after opening. Crowded. Haunted Mansion, crowded. Big Thunder, actually, over there, crowded. The new stuff just isn't. And that's an indication that people want to go back to what Disney was. You can't just plop down a roller coaster with Tron. You can't just plop down a clone from Shanghai that was made for Chinese guests who had never been on roller coasters and say, oh, well, here you go. We built something. It just doesn't work like that. It'll run for a few years, but after those few years, people catch on that Tron is 48 seconds long, and it's not all that thrilling. And they say, oh, well, I'll take Space Mountain then because it was built to be thrilling. So there you can see, folks, now. There's no hiding it. There's no obscuring it. That's what it looks like this weekend. Disney could have fixed this again by letting all the pass holders in, making the announcement quick, making it swift, getting it out there, letting people know, come on to Disney, you're welcome to be here. There were other mistakes made from the hurricane. We'll be talking about those soon. But folks, Disney needs to pick up the attendance badly, because take a look. I want to show you one more time on this chart from Thrill Data. What's been happening steadily since December of 2023. This is amazing. You never see this. From December of 2023, with only a single month exception to the rule, a decrease in wait times, which we believe correlate to attendance, every single month. Surely that cannot continue into November. We don't believe it will. But look at every other year. If you want to know, is Pro telling the truth? Does this channel tell the truth about Disney World attendance and the state of the parks? Folks, look at every other year. It follows ups and downs. It follows what you would expect for vacationing, right? You have peaks in the summer, peaks around the holidays. The other months are down. Look at 2024. Down, 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 down. And that is why Disney and its stock will be down, facing off against Epic Universe real soon. And that's not going to go well. This is Disney pre-Epic Universe. What will it be when the largest theme park in North America opens just across the road? Folks, that's the video for today. We hope that if you want to go and experience Disney, that you do so soon, because the prices are going to increase for 2025. And right now, it's empty. Go down there and have a good time. The cast members will appreciate you. Folks, if you like content like this, consider clicking the like button, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts and share with us. Do you call it Columbus Day or Indigenous Peoples Day? And do you find it offensive that Indigenous Peoples Day has to share its day with Columbus Day. Maybe we should have separated those out. I know the reason they're doing it. I just find it interesting. Appropriation. Folks, we hope you have a good one. We're going to see you over on the Patreon later today if you're a Patreon member. And of course, 3 videos a day, every single day here on the channel. Thrice is nice. We'll see you real soon. Folks, until the next time, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.
Listen up, my brothers and sisters. You've been listening to Phils and those with an agenda to destroy your brain cells for far too long. It's time to change your way of doing things. Hold up. TPP is the place to be. Covering the news so honestly. It's a team that's cool and tried and true. Ahead of the culture curve, they're trying to keep you. Jonas and Pro, they run the show, and they dragged in the bearded culture casino. You got Valiant and Lord and Fourth of Light. Wonderful people, yeah, they're alright. They got weird bringing in people like Floral, but made no mistake with Lorena Creole. Amelia and John, stuttering guitarist. Martin and Tawny and someone called CMS. Fats even makes a bunch of other graphics. Did I mention a partnership with Bending in the comics? Fat Guy is a guy and Doc Matt does the web stuff. There's probably some people I missed. I hope they're not telling you the news that should be fun. With accurate info that's not been spun. You can figure it out as you will see. The TPP is the place to be.
Yeah, Wilton. That was actually pretty good, or white. But I think you might have forgotten Vash.
Well, he lost all his friends. But it was implied.